Hello, please hold your photographs and applause and comments until the end of my presentation. My name is Marshall Maskey, and I am here on the behalf of my Interpersonal Communications class at Jackson College. Now, for this presentation, we were asked to find some goals and everyday tasks in life and figure out what individuals or group of individuals have shaped and allowed us to adapt these goals and tasks into our own life. So if you could kindly point your attention to my PowerPoint, and you can follow along with me as we start off with my goals. So number one is being able to provide for my wife and my future family. This can be traced back to my mother. Being a single mom really puts a toll on you. My father was always in and out of the house because of his substance abuse, and I remember driving home one day and saying, "Mom, you shouldn't be the one that's working. That should be what Dad does." Now, she was shocked by this observation that I made, since it wasn't really something that she had taught me. So I just figured someone as caring and supportive as her shouldn't have to work as much as she did. And at the end of every day, I just hope that I can provide for my wife and future family in the same way that she did for me. Next up, we have being able to live comfortably. Everyone's definition of comfortable is different. For me, it is not having to worry about grocery money or other necessities in life. And I think I can trace this one back to my friendships in high school. I had a lot of friends who were on the more poor side of the spectrum. Their houses would be a lot less neat than mine, and they didn't have a lot of food in the home because their parents were constantly working just to provide what little they could. Now, I don't want to have to worry about that because I can see what it does. It causes subconscious stressors on teenagers. You grow up thinking that you need to work for money just in case there won't be food when you get home. You grow up not knowing about rudimentary hygienic care. I have always prided myself on the way I present myself to others, and it is all thanks to the friends that I still have to this day. The last thing on my goals that I could narrow down was being content with where I am at the end of every day. If you are working every day and never have time for yourself, you need to take a break or change your lifestyle. I think I can pinpoint this one back to my grandfather. He tried a few different things with his restaurant, but didn't settle until he found the one that he enjoyed most. I don't want to have to come home from work and saying work was just work. I want to be able to look back and think of how much of a difference I made and how much I enjoyed it. As long as I get enough money to survive, that is all that I need. Now, let's take a little shift here and talk about some everyday tasks in my life and figure out who influenced those tasks. Now, communicating with my friends is something that is very important. I have a lot of friends, and I have a core group of friends that I have talked to since I was very young. And I think seeing some of them drift away and one of them actually passing away has given me a really good understanding of how I can be there for everyone around me. I really like to think of myself as very empathetic and caring towards others, and this also traces back to just my friend group in high school and being able to find out what is going on with them and care for them and put myself in their shoes and try to figure out what they're feeling. Next up, I have praying. Praying is something that I do on a daily basis. Now, I am not your average churchgoer, but my mother is, and she is someone who also has inspired this everyday task. Now, my prayers usually consist of asking for good health, thanking for the blessings that I have, and praying for forgiveness. Now, it's not something that people look at me and would think, wow, he definitely goes to church or he definitely does this. I'm covered in tattoos and I have a terrible mouth. But I believe that it's more about the connection that you have with God rather than your connection with people here on earth. And again, this was to my mother who inspired me or gave me this tradition, kind of. And then next up, I have applying myself. Now, I trace this one back to my high school band teacher. And he always saw the best in everybody. He always wanted everyone to push themselves as far as they could and just apply themselves. And he wasn't doing it for his own benefit. He was doing it because he knew the potential that lied within each student, and he wanted them to reach that potential. And so at the end of the day, and at the end of this presentation, I have gained knowledge and an understanding of how people in my life influence my everyday actions and my everyday goals. And I would just like to personally thank my core group of friends, my mother, my past grandfather, and my band teacher for shaping me into the individual that I am today and allowing me to express myself in ways that others cannot. So thank you everybody for coming to my presentation tonight. We will see you next time. Goodbye.